What is up, YouTube? We're going to be smashing through a bunch of deck requests. We opened up deck submissions from the NAWCQ, and a lot of people sent in their list. A lot of these you probably have already seen, but we're going to give my opinion on them. So first up, we're going to have Mystic Burn, piloted by Jason Kartanawisk. God, I'm pretty sure I just butchered your name, homie, but I'm sorry. I'm terrible with that. But yes, Jason made top 64 for the NAWCQ, which is pretty impressive. And I've had my bets on the Black Horse for a while. I've wanted this deck to top so that we could kill it. And thank you, Jason. You've made my dream one step closer to being a reality. So, you guys know about how fun Mystic Burn is, enforcing the wave motion cannon and the Mystic Bind to basically 8 turns end the game for your opponent, which is essentially the way you want to go. And the whole deck's main strategy is pretty much based off of what we saw coming out of California quite some weeks back, actually. I think this was near the beginning of the format. God of Scold's Oracle actually kind of stuck from that. I think we saw a couple of stragglers coming in and out of the format with this, but I mean, outside of that, there really wasn't a definitive stick with this deck. But to see that it finally made top somewhere, that's what I like to see. So, early monsters in the deck: Triple Lilith, the Lady of Laminate. Of course, this is what you're using to try to stick some sort of trap card from your deck to basically fuel your deck's win con. We have triple copies of Card Demise because amazing draw power in a deck like this that is totally fair and totally balanced is exactly what we want in the current game of Yu-Gi-Oh, right? Being able to just, draw these cards. It's so good. Triple copies of Demise of Land. Watch your opponent Nene. Watch your opponent Dede. Dede. That was terrible, I'm sorry. We have 2 copies of God of Scold's Oracle. Triple copies of Mystical Mino. And then, of course, triple copies of Duality, triple copies of Extravagance, and, of course, our luxurious, expensive win condition in the deck. Burn your opponent from 8,000 to 0. Bada bing, bada boom. Then we have triple copies of Dark Bribe because our opponent trying to Twin Twisters us is unfair, and we're not about that life. We have triple copies of Heavy Storm Duster. Our opponent having back row is also unfair. It's kind of funny. The premise on this deck, it's like, our best cards are to stop our opponent from interacting with us. Thanks, Yu-Gi-Oh! We also have triple copies of Infinite Impermanence, blinking a column, making things unusable, negating generalized effect monster abuse, all wrapped up into one beautiful card. Triple copies of Activate Our Win Con from the deck, 1 copy of Judgment, 2 copies of Activate Our Win Con from the deck, and then 2 copies of Unending Nightmare, because actually this card is pretty decent for what we're trying to do with this deck. I've kind of noticed that Unending Nightmare is kind of hit or miss in some of these variants, but the more that I've seen players play this, the more that I like how this tries to stick around. Now, down here in the extra deck, pretty simple. 3 Space Insulator, triple Secure Cardinal, triple Link Spider, triple Nightmare Phoenix, and triple Clara and Rushka. Had we cut these, we could have had an entire Cyberse extra deck. Side deck, we have triple Artifact Lancia, triple, just, it's a prank, bro. Triple Prohibition, 2 Chaos Triple, triple Evenly Matched, and the 3rd copy of the Unending Nightmare, wrapping up this young duelist list. What can I say? Thanks, Jason, for helping contribute to getting Mystic Mine one step closer to being banned out of the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! I'm so excited, as most of you should be too. Now, we also got a top 32 Mr. Matt's list. God, I'm terrible with names for these videos. I need to really learn these things. But anyway, Matt sent in his list, said, hey, check this out. Salamangreat, we did it. And the thing I wanted to kind of note here was, out of pure representation for Salamangreat and Top Cut, it's pretty interesting to see. Even to this day, we've still got the argument: sign it mining, no sign it mining, flame buffalo, no flame buffalo. This build, no flame buffalo. None. Who needs it? Not I, not me, not you, evidently. So, and we've also got 2 foul in this build. I've been seeing foul kind of jumping around. It's either a 0, 1, or 2. I almost want to say it's not correct to not be playing foul, which is also kind of interesting. But, you know, nonetheless, we take the W's that we get. So, Matt played 3 copies of Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring, triple copies of Effect Veiler, triple copies of Mystical Phantasm Boy, 1 copy of the Sad Little Lady Debug, 1 copy of the Salamangreat Falco, 2 copies of Foul, triple copies of Boxy, triple copies of Gazelle, 1 copy of Jaguar, triple copies of Spinny, triple copies of the Signet Mining, 2 copies of Desires, triple copies of the Salamangreat Circle, 1 copy of the Salamangreat Sanctuary, triple Infinite Impermanence, 2 copies of Salamangreat Rage, and 1 copy of Roar. You guys remember when we played Will of the Salamangreat, where we could just get the ability to special summon and continue to extend our plays? Yeah, I remember those days, but unfortunately, with, the limitation on Lady Debug, this deck just kind of had to evolve into the current thing it is. It's basically hand trap deck with a little bit more solid aggression, I feel. Now, down here in the extra deck, pretty stable. Triple copies of Yield Sunlight Wolf, 2 copies of Heatleo Man, triple copies of Balinix, 1 copy of the Nightmare Phoenix, 1 copy of the Hida, the Fire Charmer Ablaze, 1 copy of Boral Sordo Dragon, 1 Tornado Dragon, 1 Mirage Stelio, and 2 copies of Dweller. What makes my deck unique? I play 2 Abyss Dweller. It wins games. I saw that feature match slip. It wasn't from this guy, I believe, but there was somebody requested a feature match at the event, and it was posted on Zodiac, and it was like, what makes my deck unique? I play 2 Abyss Dweller. Just like, boy, oh boy, here we go again. And we got triple copies of Artifact Lancia. We have 1 copy of Paro. We've talked about how this is just to make use of time and ensure that, A, I'm not going to lose. Triple copies of Called by the Grave, 2 copies of Anti-Spell Fragrance Man, triple copies of Evenly Matched, and triple copies of Typhoon, wrapping up Matt's list. I will say, though, it's definitely good to kind of see that even though there's so many variants and little things that you can do with this deck, the players have kind of found their medium, and they know where they're trying to go with these decks. Now, last but not least for this video is Damir Subasic's top cut deck profile, essentially top 64 Subterror, baby. We did it. Now, why, oh why did Subterror finally do it? Well, it was top 64 first off, which means the Rogue's got to squeak on in there. It's got to do its thing. I've also noticed this weekend that There Could Only Be One was a hot tech choice. Whew. Like, honestly, this card was pretty clutch. The Sky Striker deck that got 2nd place definitely did it because of There Could Only Be One. So, definitely interesting, none the least, to see that this card is pushing the metagame in an acceptable direction, I feel. So this is Damir's top cut deck profile. So we have triple copies of Ash Blossom and Joyous Springu, triple copies of Effect Veiler, 1 copy of Mastrix, triple copies of Subterror Fiendus, triple copies of Subterror Guru, 1 copy of the Nemesis Archer, triple copies of Called by the Grave, triple copies of Pot of Duality, triple copies of Pot of Extravagance, 2 copies of Super Polymerization, 2 copies of Terraforming, and triple copies of the Hidden City. Traps, we have 2 Compulsory Evacuation Device, 2 copies of Just Crack It Down, triple copies of Final Battle, and triple copies of There Can Only Be One. Also, do take note here in the main deck, there's no Cave Clash for recursion. We are set on the 1 Nemesis Archer, the 1 Mastrix, which are pretty solid ratios. I'm fine with this. Honestly, this main deck looks super solid. I also like the inclusion of the Compulsory Evacuation Device. Like, this must have come in pretty clutch in those games where you're kind of just grinding against your opponent, and your opponent's like, uh-oh, what am I going to do? Then we have the 1 copy of the Nightmare Phoenix, triple copies of Starving Venom Fusion Dragon, triple copies of Salamangreat Violet Chimera, 2 Mud Dragons, triple Mega Fleet, and triple Chimera Tech Fortress Dragon. This man was not losing to Cyber Dragons at all this weekend. Side deck here with triple Lancia, triple Cyber Dragon, triple Shared Ride, triple Evenly Matched, and triple Full House, wrapping up Damir's list. And I will say, this is pretty impressive. I really like what he was doing for ratios here. And, to say the least out of this weekend, yeah, congratulations, sir. Like, absolutely good job. All 3 of you Jason, Matt, and Demir. I'm very happy with these lists, and I think the community is too going into Euros this weekend. Please leave a comment down below. Tell me what you guys think about these lists. I'll catch you guys on the flip side. Peace. The ride never, well, truly ends. Thank you, patrons. Without you guys, I don't know what I'd be wearing in these videos. I might be a truffle shuffle incident all over again. Guys, please also check out VanCole40 for some awesome Vanguard content. Some other interesting stuff you might find up here on the left or in the description as well. Thanks for watching.